why does personal branding matter? Hopefully I've persuaded you there, like sharing and being visible. Like personal branding to me is being visible on a platform. Now it could be TikTok if you want to like fight with cat memes and dancing, things like that. But it's being visible on a platform, and personal branding is about how you make people feel, or making a sort of attracting people that they want to be around you or they want to work with you. So hopefully, like if you're not already on LinkedIn, hopefully I can persuade you to step up your LinkedIn game. LinkedIn is the perfect platform for that. It is a networking platform for your career. And even like, especially if you're looking for a job, you need to be on LinkedIn. You can then archive your profile if you want once you've got a job. But actually, like me, I had a job. I used LinkedIn every day, and it was through that I found about opportunities. So whatever your motivation, creating a personal brand on LinkedIn is a really smart move. But here's the thing, like, you've got to do it right. You don't want to be that person on LinkedIn that's like spamming inspirational quotes and awkward selfies. And I mean, I can talk about it. Like if we just go back to that slide earlier, like these are my awkward selfies. These are like all the things that have come on LinkedIn for me. So let's break down what's important. Okay. Personal brand, it sounds very corporate buzzwordy, but in today's sort of environment, professional world, it is a necessity. Your personal brand, your reputation online. It's how people perceive you before they even meet you in person, and it's what makes you stand out in a sea of profiles. LinkedIn is the perfect place to start because unlike other social media platforms where you're dodging cat memes and viral dance challenges, LinkedIn is tailor-made for professionals. So some top tips. Right, the very first thing you need to do, if we start with the basics, you have a profile on LinkedIn. And the next session I'm going to do in 2 weeks, I'm going to show you how to use LinkedIn, assuming you've already got a profile. But let's start with the basics, okay? Before you start creating content, you need a profile. You need a rock solid profile that says who you are. Profile picture. Yes, your photo matters a lot. Doesn't have to be a full-on professional headshot, but you need to look approachable, confident, and like yourself. So, you know, it doesn't have to be like, don't put a vacation pic of you in a bikini unless that's what you want to be known for. Even if you do look fabulous, you know, but a normal shot. It doesn't have to be, like I say, professional, but it needs like corporate professional, but it needs to be a good photo of you. And ideally, like not one of you from a child, like particularly, I can see people at conferences and I look at the LinkedIn, I'm like, is that really you in real life? Like, how old is that picture? It's like 20 years old, but you're all quite young, so you don't need to worry about that. Headline. So if you are looking for work, this is your prime real estate. Your headline needs to list more than just your job title or aspiring job title. Try something more personal, like what's your value proposition? How are you, like what sort of roles are you looking for? How do you help people or businesses? So if we think like helping companies scale through innovative sales strategies, you see that sometimes, or empowering teams, like particularly for those of you that are involved in cyber women, have something about there in terms of the C.I.C. Your about section is your chance to tell your story. You know, keep it conversational but professional. Explain who you are, what you do, and what makes you tick, but don't talk in third person. This isn't your bio for like school yearbook, it's your voice, so show some personality. So like with mine, I talk about like my 2 decades experience in recruitment and then transitioning in. I talk about all the projects that I get involved in, and I think I make a joke that I'm no good at saying no to things, but it's in my voice. You can if you speak to me, hopefully my LinkedIn profile sounds like how I talk. So next thing, sharing valuable content without becoming a content robot. So once you've got your profile polished, it's time to start sharing content. Now, if you've never posted anything on LinkedIn, this can feel terrifying. I get this. You want to be seen as an expert, but not a spammer. So aim for quality content. If you write something once every 2 months, at least you're writing something. And if you're year one, you start writing about what you're learning, obviously without giving any key games away of what you're learning content wise. If you document your journey, you can use LinkedIn, or you could use Medium, like a blog post. I think Medium's free to host, and you can write blogs so you get used to your style before you share something on LinkedIn. So posting your insights, you don't need to reinvent the wheel with every single post, but sharing your insight and your experiences is a great way to establish yourself as a thought leader or differentiate yourself as a graduate. So whether it's lessons you've learned, whether it's trends in the industry, whether it's even challenges that you're facing, like people love authenticity. I can see his face, but can't think his name. There's a guy, and hopefully one of you ladies will know, who documented 100 days of Try Hack Me, and he documented his journey. At least I think you've just said it, but you're on mute. You know who I mean, don't you?
I'm pretty sure it's Joe, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Wells, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Wells. Yeah, Joe has done this perfectly. He's a great example of someone who's built a profile. He's a student, he's built a profile through that student journey, and actually he's turning down jobs that don't fit with what he wants. I feel like he wants to work with schools. I might be completely misrepresenting that, but yeah. So
Yeah,
people
he's
love.
very,
Yeah, it does, doesn't he? Engaging with others. So if you're nervous about writing your own content, okay, just engage with the network, connect with people on LinkedIn, and comment on their content. You know, get used to your word, like comment on other people's posts, ask questions, add or offer your expertise or like follow-up points. Best relationships are built on interaction, not just self-promotion. So don't feel that you have to, like, first thing you ever do is write a post, hello world, here I am, like you're a developer for the first time. You know, you can engage with other people's posts and avoid generic posts. So you'll see a trend, you'll see a trend of, after InfoSec, everyone will be talking about InfoSec. That's great, actually, that you can jump on those trends, but they'll be like, everyone will bash recruiters for a day, or everyone will bash boot camps for a day, or everyone will bash, you know, those sort of generic cringe-inducing posts that feel like they've been ripped. Everyone's copying the same thing. You can do like motivational quotes, but if you're going to make a motivational quote, make sure it's relevant to your industry and it adds value. But add your own commentary. But you can also see when someone's written a post using ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is great for ideas. Like, I want to write a post about, give me some highlights, and then put it into your own words. You can use ChatGPT for ideas, but don't use ChatGPT as your voice, else your voice is never going to sound the same. It needs to be your voice. If you think about, you're all students, you're all female, I'm assuming you're all female students, doesn't matter if you're not, but you're all students right now, I'm assuming. What would you want to know when you were deciding which university to go to? What would you want to know when you were deciding which course to go for? You know, what's important for students? What would you like to know from an employer as a graduate? What's your viewpoint of the market? Like, it might be difficult right now to get a job. You can crowdsource ideas, or like, how's everyone else finding the market? How are other students? You can ask questions. If you ask questions, people will engage with your content as well. And then sort of step 3, be consistent, but not overbearing. Like, if you're posting every single thought that ever goes into your head like a stream of consciousness, you're just going to come up. In fact, the algorithm will start to hate you. But consistency is key when building your brand. So like, don't post once and then never again for like 6 months. Stay active, but don't overshare. So post regularly, whether that's a couple of times a month or twice a week. The goal is to keep your name popping up in people's feeds without overwhelming them. Building a personal brand isn't a sprint, it's more of a marathon with networking breaks. So, you know, stay patient, keep posting, and engage with your network consistently. So on that, anyone you ever meet at a conference, you should be adding. You need to build your network, because how the LinkedIn algorithm works is, if you are day one with one connection, when you post, your one connection is the only person that's going to see your post, unless they interact with it. If I interact with your post, then anyone who's in my network will see your posts. So don't be afraid to connect with people on LinkedIn. Connect with people you've met at conferences, connect with people that you admire, that you'd like to work for, connect with other people. Like, if you're at Warwick, connect with people who work in businesses in and around Warwick, if that's where you want to be. If you want to be in London, like, connect with people in London. You don't always have to send a personal message either. You can just send a connection request. But if it's a business that you want to work with, you've got 300 characters to send a message. but I will do more on LinkedIn in 2 weeks. Network authentically. So networking is the bread and butter of LinkedIn. However, don't just follow, connect, because if you connect, once you're connected, I can send a direct message to anyone I'm connected with, like a text message, but through LinkedIn. I have no limit on characters. If I follow, I can't. I have to send them an email. Email ends up somewhere else. But don't connect. If you haven't got many connections, connect with people that you feel you want to work with or you want to message and build relationships with. As you can hit a max on LinkedIn, but I think it's like 40,000, so it's a while away. If you're reaching someone new, you can send them a personal note. I notice we're in the same industry and I'd love to connect and learn more about your work. If that's someone that you do want to chat with, it shows you're interested in a genuine connection. But if you've met a load of people and actually everyone's talking about InfoSec and you didn't get a chance to go and you want to build your connections, you can just connect to people. If you want to ask them something, offer something first. If you want to seek advice, don't make your first message a request. You can engage with their content. You can see what they're following. Like if you know that you want to work at that security company, for example, Eliza gets millions of connection requests every day. If you engage with content and then send a connection request a couple of days later, they'll recognize your name. It's that top of mind awareness. You can leave meaningful comments, you can share their posts, you can, follow up with them. Then when you reach out to connect, it won't feel completely transactional. Step 5, sort of showcase your expertise humbly. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I write about my achievements without sounding like I'm bragging? You need to focus on value. Okay, so when you share your successes, if you frame them in a way that highlights the results and the lessons learned rather than just tooting your own horn. So, for example, instead of posting, I'm so proud to have stopped like 10,000 phishing attacks this quarter, you can make that more by focusing on proactive threat detection and user education. Our team have blocked 10,000 phishing attempts. Here's what worked. And you'll see loads of posts on LinkedIn that follow a format of this is what we achieved, this was the successful outcome, and this is how we did it, which is a nice way of structuring those sorts of posts, but you can find what works for you as well. But by focusing on value, not just the outcome and like how that makes a difference, you're highlighting your sort of expertise and value. You're highlighting your strategy behind success and the lessons others can learn rather than just sort of flexing about numbers. So focus on how everything you're doing is adding value, while sharing practical insights will help. Now, there are some best practices and there's also some pitfalls with this, and I can share a few little stories. So obviously be authentic. People can sniff out ChatGPT and inauthenticity a mile away. Be yourself, but just the best version of yourself, like yourself on the best day when you're feeling amazing. Providing value. So every post, every comment, every interaction should aim to either add value to your network or humor. You don't be afraid to like post funny selfies. Like when me and Eliza got turned into Obi-Wan Kenobi and Princess Leia, and obviously Eliza was Princess Leia, I showed that to my husband. He was like, oh my god, I can never look at you again, that's such a creepy photo. And I was like, I know, and I've just shared it on LinkedIn. It's got like 1 million views already. Like, but you laugh at yourself. It'll make you memorable, but you want to be memorable for the right reasons, even if I do look like an amazing Obi-Wan Kenobi. Stay consistent, regular activity, and it doesn't have to be posts every day, but what I do, like the day job gets busy and sometimes I'm like, oh my god, I've not been on LinkedIn for like a whole week, this should be part of my day job. I will have a brew, just have like 30 minutes while I'll look at what people are posting in my feed and engage with some content. Then I'm not having to create some content right there and then, unless it's what we're doing, what events we're going to. That's, you'll notice if you're connected with me, like I post about events, I'm on a train, I'm here and there, it's easy content, but then it does keep me top of mind in people's feed. People will say to me, how are you everywhere all of the time? I'm like, I don't know, I'm so tired. Yeah, so stay consistent, engage thoughtfully. Networking is about relationships, not numbers. I very rarely DM anyone unless like, hey, I've just seen you doing this, that's great. If I'm messaging someone, like networking, it's normally face to face. But if I do send someone a DM, it's because I want to chat with them about something, or I've liked their content, and that builds a connection. And then mix it up. Like, don't just rely on one type of post. Like, you can share articles, you can share news feeds, you can post videos. LinkedIn loves videos. I hate videos, but occasionally we make a video. Write your thoughts, comment on other people's posts. Some warnings though. So there are some things I never want to be known for, and I'm never going to post about on LinkedIn, like politics, conflicts, hot takes, like that are negative about other people. I will never post something like that on LinkedIn. Don't like it. That's not what I want to be known for. Some people do thrive on that as part of their personal brand. They like to be the hot taker. But for me, that just doesn't sit with my values. So think about what your values are and what are your like non-negotiables that you don't want to do. And as long as you've always got that sort of values in your mind, you're not going to get broiled into like a bin war on LinkedIn. Another pitfall is people will feel like they know you. Now, I once had someone come up to me and say, "Did you find your son's swimming shorts?" because of something I posted on Twitter. Now, I'd never met this person before. I was like, it wasn't meant to creep me out at all, but it did a little bit, because I went, I forgot I posted about that. Shit, I'm getting a bit. You can overshare without realizing it. So that was Twitter, not LinkedIn, but yeah, it just made me think, oh, actually, I need to think about what I'm sharing. And that person wasn't a creep, really liked them, actually now really good friends with them, but that first interaction just made me go, ooh. And then a final point, be kind. Now, once the written word is out there, it's out there forever. You can delete posts, but people have got receipts. People screenshot. If you share something, you can't delete screenshots. And also, you can never take back how you've made someone feel. Like, the written word is like toothpaste. You can't get it back into the tube, and it can be harmful to others. So some final thoughts: build your brand, build your career. Like 100%. If you want a career in cybersecurity, this is one of the ways to massively fast track that goal. So your LinkedIn profile, it's more than just an online resume. It's your personal brand in action. By building a really strong, authentic brand, you're not just boosting your visibility, you're opening doors to new opportunities, new connections, and career growth. So, start small, optimize your profile, share your thoughts, engage with others, but most importantly, be yourself. Like, with a little consistency and some thoughtful content, you'll be well on your way to making LinkedIn work for you, not the other way around. So go forth, hopefully, conquer LinkedIn, one post at a time, but leave the dance challenges to TikTok.